Well, welcome back to the channel. I've got some good news for Microsoft Flight Simulator VR users. A tool that was available in X-Plane long before Microsoft Flight Simulator existed is finally available in the new simulator too. Well, if you've followed my channel for any length of time, you know that I've had a constant battle with knobs. Whether with a mouse or on a touchscreen, knobs, especially dual encoder knobs, those stack knobs like on the G530 or G1000 and the comm radios, they take far more effort and attention to operate than knobs in a real aircraft. And trying to operate them in VR with hand controllers is even tougher. For several years, Sim Innovations, the makers of Air Manager, have offered an add-on knob dual encoder with push button to be used to make entries into their touch panels to avoid the need for a mouse. With the advent of VR, Sim Innovations came up with a way to use that same knob called the Knobster in VR to eliminate the need for controllers inputs to knobs. In short, this allowed you to bring a customized list of knob functions into VR and to select them without using the mouse and operate cockpit knobs in a very realistic way. Well, the good news is that this free plugin for Microsoft Flight Simulator is now available to utilize the Knobster in VR. So in this brief video, I'd like to demonstrate how you can bring this interface into your cockpit and to eliminate the need to grope around by feel only for knobs and buttons outside the VR world. I'll also explain where you can get the hardware and free plug-in to make this all work with Microsoft Flight Simulator. And finally, I'll take a quick look at how you set up the custom menus and how you can modify the existing menus to work with add-on aircraft with custom LVARs and events. The Knobster is a compact push-button dual encoder that is USB plug-and-play. Just plug it in like a mouse and it's ready to go. It's available from Sim Innovations. To get the free plugin, just go to the Sim Innovations wiki at siminnovations.com/wiki and then click the KnobFS link. You can scroll down and select download to download the free plugin. Just double click the installer while Flight Simulator is not running, restart, and you'll be ready to go. I will note that KnobFS will not work with the do-it-yourself Knobster, which is not USB plug-and-play. Also, KnobFS can be used on flying with 2D panels, but it's not really that practical, so I'm going to demo in VR. Now when you're ready to launch KnobFS, you need to pull up the menu and select the KnobFS icon. This will open the KnobFS window in VR where you can drag to a place that you're comfortable. I often put it where it's not breaking the immersion. It can be resized. The number of menu items repeat in a cyclical manner, so you can resize it lengthwise so that it shows everything just once. Whatever item in the menu list that is selected in blue is what will be operated by the knob by twisting the inner and outer knob or pressing the button if that is assigned. To change the menu selection, you hold in the knob for over 2 seconds and you can see it turns green. Then you can select here HSI and OBS is selected, and you can see that as the small knob is twisted, we get a change in the coarse needle, the OBS. The large knob changes the heading selection. Now we can go back and hold the button in and select something else. So let's select the nav frequency number 1, and you can see on the nav frequency there is being changed. Of course, the small knob for the fractional part and the large knob for the main, and then pushing the button will we'll swap those. They're both 14. It's kind of hard to tell. Let's try a different number so it's more obvious, and you can see those are swapping in the nav position there. We can also click to select with a mouse if you're using a mouse. I like a trackball on my knee, and then you can see the frequencies on nav2 are being changed with the small and large knob, and again, if we push the button, we can swap those. So you can select with a mouse if you're using it, or without. You can also use a controller. Now let's change to something else here. The barometric pressure, and you can see the Colesman window being changed. And you can program these any way you want. You can make a push go to 2992 if you like, but if the knobs, if there's only one function, usually both knobs will be programmed to do the same thing, so you could use either knob. So you can see here that the menu items scroll. You can use a scroll wheel on your mouse also to scroll if the mouse is hovered over the list, and you can see they scroll around in an endless circle. So you can, as I said before, resize it so that you have exactly all the items shown at one time. Now the top icon, or lower icon here, will change it into the selection mode. Now there's lots of functions that are available, and you can just select a function and click it with a check mark, and that means it will show up when you go back into the menu mode. So we can select a few here: time of day, attitude reference, autopilot altitude, and you can see you just click it and then click that again to select it. And we go back to the menu mode. Now you can see those functions are available. So if we want to change it, we hold it in for 2 seconds or longer. We go to, let's say, time of day. We select it. It's blue. Now we can see as we turn the knob, well, the large knob makes very quick changes in the time for day or night. And if we select the small knob, it's a much more slow change. So you can literally change the night into day. With the small knob, you can make fine-tuning to the time of day. Again, a long press to select something else. Let's go back to daytime, and then go back to something else here. Attitude reference, and you can see the attitude reference bars moving up and down on the attitude indicator. Again, if we make a long press, we go to green. We can switch to something else like autopilot altitude. That doesn't seem to be working because it uses a custom LVAR for that and the Carinata, I guess. So that's not set up. So let's take a look at how these modes or menu items are set up and the files where they can be edited. And first we need to locate those modes, and they are located in your Windows folder under Program Files, looking for KnobFS. You notice there's aircraft, modes, and page. We'll go to modes and we'll open those, and you'll see a listing of all the potential items that could be in that menu when we select the little settings on that menu. These items are there. Let's pick one at random code. The COM radio number 1 frequency. You can see there's a name, and then there's an event, a K item for both the minor, the small knob, and the large knob. You can see the small knob and large knob are doing the fractional and hold. There's also a swap button, and the order is a way of ordering the menu items that is beyond the scope. Here's the barometric pressure. You can see the Colesman increase, decrease. There's acceleration listed here. You can put acceleration in. It's very cool. Causes the knob to twist when it's twisted faster to move larger, which is really handy. Here's a Garmin G1000. You can see there's an H event. Those are custom events that Asobo has, and you can see the those also to use the inner and the outer knob clockwise and counterclockwise, making it increase, decrease in the push button function. If we go back to the aircraft, you can see that every time you open an aircraft and edit the menu, it saves a listing so that it can reproduce that. So you can have custom settings for different aircraft. Of course, different menu items will show up on different aircraft, and you can edit those in the aircraft, and when you exit, they'll be saved. And that's pretty much all we're going to cover here. If there's any interest, I could cover this in another video in depth. So that pretty much covers what I wanted to show you today. I wanted to show you this new KnobFS available from Sim Innovations. Allows you to create custom menus that you can use in VR to control the more complicated knobs, well, any of the knobs, but it's especially useful for the G1000 knobs, the other knobs like the G530 that have a push button function and two rotary encoders. They're a little bit more complicated and difficult to use, especially with controllers if you want to get rid of heavy mouse use, which I think detracts from the reality or the realism of flying in VR, which is what it's, to me, that's what it's all about, and that's why I love flying in VR. Again, thanks for watching my videos. If you're interested in my videos, please do subscribe. Share these with your friends. Tell them about KnobFS if you think that would interest them. I hope to see you again soon, and keep those comments coming. They're encouraging and a lot of good feedback to make things better. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next video.